The business.
Welcome back to another episode of Day One Radio right here on ablradio.com. That's Art Beats and Lyrics Radio to be exact. Make sure you download the very free, very accessible smartphone app for your iPhone and your Android devices. And B, tell them where they can find the entire Day One Radio catalog.
You can always find us on day1radio.com. I was recently read that you should not say iTunes, that you should say Apple Podcast app. So on the Apple Podcast app, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spreaker, anywhere else you can find podcasts, that's what we on. This be some stuff I don't even know we on that we on. So it's all good. As long as you listening, that's all that matters, man. So what's good, bro? We ain't been in. We had the July 4th holiday last week, so we wasn't in here, man. So what's been up, bro?
Everything been cool, man. I actually ran in the Peachtree Road race for the first time on the 4th.
That was your first time running
That
it?
was my first time running the Peachtree,
well,
man.
Did you like it?
I liked it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't mind it because, like, part of me was glad that I did it, and then, you know, part of it kind of made me cocky too, because it's like, you know, I qualified to be in wave A, which is the front.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know that there was waves to qualify.
You qualified to run with the Africans?
Pretty much. Like, I was like it was like the Olympian Africans, and then like the elite dudes, and then us. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, all right.
So, but I didn't know it went all the way up to like wave Y.
Oh, yeah.
So I did not know that. So when I was hearing people, oh man, it's gonna be so hot. It's gonna be so hot. So it's like when you in wave A, you get to start at 7:30. And I was done by 8:15.
Yeah.
But them wave Y folks, they were starting at like 10 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? And
when
being
I
out
did
until
it,
noon.
when I did it, bro, I wasn't in Y. I was definitely in the latter half of the alphabet because I hadn't done any qualifying races that year. So I think I was in probably R or something. Like, I was back there, and it was more walkers than anything. I spent a half a mile running around people who were walking. I'm like, and it was hot. So I was like, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah, like the later it gets, the hotter it gets. That's what I saw. You know,
did it rain?
No, it didn't rain. It didn't rain. I think it rained the night before. You know what I'm saying? But no, it didn't rain. Like, everything was cool. Like, I'll definitely, you know, do it again next year. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's pretty dope because it's pretty much a rolling party. Like, people was out there running with beer. You know, and people was on the sidelines handing out beer to people.
I wasn't with all that. I was like, I'm out here to run. Like, y'all can have fun. I'm focused. For real. But man, it's been a lot going on, and we definitely want to include our guest in this, especially since he is a journalist and also a filmmaker.
Yeah, man.
And the topic of the day is the cannabis industry and medical marijuana. And this brother has a highly anticipated documentary coming out sooner than later on that, man. What's good, bro? And please break down all your credentials.
You got to tell him his name first, though, man.
I want him to.
I got y'all, man. What's up, everybody? I'm actually honored to be here, man, because I'm not just with hip hop veterans. I'm with people I know. I grew up reading and admiring.
Making us sound old and shit.
No. We do have gray hair, bro.
Yeah.
Real. I remember reading Ozone and seeing Maurice Garland being mad as hell. Like, man, why is it I'm in Charlotte and I'm not in Ozone yet, dog? I used to read that there all the time. But yeah, my name's Mehka. I got a documentary I'm working on called The Color Green, Cash Colored Cannabis. It's about the lack of minorities in the cannabis industry that you're seeing popping up over the last 2 years. So the film focuses on that. Through the film, we focus on 3 points. It's called the 3 Ps, I call it. Pop culture, politics, and past issues, and how those 3 things are what's stopping people of color from even paying attention to what's going on. So we had a chance to we've been interviewing since last January, and we had a chance to go to DC. We've done a lot of filming in Texas, did a lot of filming down here in Atlanta. I went to LA recently last week. That was dope. And we had a chance to do some filming out in New York, man, which was amazing because I had a chance to speak to some people again I didn't even know existed. You know what I mean? Like Branson. I didn't even know Branson existed till I got the chance to
Oh,
speak
wow.
to him.
You got Branson on?
Yeah, man. Got Branson
That's
online.
big.
Got Branson online.
Now, for the other people that don't know who Branson is,
If you've ever listened to The Locks,
Yep.
Redman, some of everybody, anybody that smokes in New York has mentioned Branson.
Yeah, Branson was the man. Matter of fact, I told Branson when I met him, I figured Branson was kind of like chronic. Like I thought it was a name of weed. Like I didn't know he was an
before
actual
his
person.
time.
Yeah, I didn't know he was an actual person. Man.
If Branson had popped off now, in the last 5 years, there would be like we have Cookies, like we have Moon Rock. There would be Branson.
We had that conversation,
and it's
man.
not too late.
We had that conversation, and between you and me, he is active of trying to get involved with it, man. He gave us some great jewels in his interview. But so we've been filming since last year. We're gonna do a couple more shoots. We're going to LA again in August, and we're gonna do some filming down here July 21st when we have a cannabis kind of a convention happening that my man Coach, who's putting on, him and D. Dawkins Hagler and a couple other people. So there's going to be a wave of cannabis activists from across the country going to be in the city for 2 days.
hold on. Rewind. There is going to be a cannabis convention
of sorts.
in Atlanta, Georgia, the capital of the Bible Belt, the Red State.
Yes, sir. Well, I'll tell you right now.
Well, I mean, there's a very, very, very small legal marijuana thing here. It ain't like Denver
No.
or Washington or nothing like that, but it exists.
It exists. It definitely
There
exists.
is a shop next door to a police substation in Little 5 Points.
True.
I thought they just sold paraphernalia in there. I didn't
They
know
do.
No, they sell the cartridges.
But what
as
you
well,
can,
the oils.
you can, as long as it's considered hemp based for the most part, which is why you can get away with it. Because even with the CBD products down here, there's only one real outlet that you can get it from, which is Halcyon Organics. And even with them, if you ever had a chance to speak with Joe and Dan over at Halcyon, they'll tell you a whole lot of differences between what they can do and what people of color could do if they was, if they was black. They fully give you the whole rundown, but they're the only real place you could actually get even CBD oil if you were prescribed for it.
Now, what does CBD stand for? This is going to be an educational show for everybody.
Oh, well, CBD oil is actually the extract from cannabis. So if you ever see like a rosin press or something like that, it'll press down on the plant so hard that these juices will fall out, like these oils. And with the oil, you could actually take that in pill form. You could take that in smokable form, or you could actually you have it in your drinks. I had CBD water when I was in LA. I thought that was overkill, but you know what I mean. Like I had CBD water. So it's one of those. It's one of the ways that people who actually need it medical wise, like say if you're going through a cancer or leukemia or something like that, one of the easier ways for you to consume cannabis would be through a CBD form, because again, it's not like you smoking if you never smoked before, and it's one of those things that won't leave a scent on you or anything like that. And it's easy to consume. It's not really something that's going to be like it's not as potent as say bud, but it's something that will get you nice and buzzed up, and it'll also take away whatever pain you're feeling.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Oh, so man, you said something earlier, talking about the documentary, and that you said that people of color, black folks don't know about this business, but I feel like at this point it's been so publicized. Is it more of a case that they know and can't get in, or they just don't know?
Well, I think it has been publicized a lot, but I think what people don't catch is that a lot of the conversations you're seeing about cannabis that involves people of color are with people of color. And I say this meaning like it'll be an activist talking to an activist. And I've noticed that a lot during this film, because when I'm in 5 Points or something, because everybody know I take the MARTA everywhere I go. Even if I'm from Boston, I grew up taking trains, so it's really cool with me. I be in MARTA, man, and I've actually had conversations with some young kids, especially when I was doing, I worked for New Georgia Projects. Whenever I was doing voter registration out there, helping people with that, I'd speak to them about cannabis, see what they know, and you'd be shocked about how much people don't know. And it's because you're not speaking to these people in particular. Like, you're having conversations, I tell people, with themselves. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, you're talking to people who already agree with you. The people who need to have these conversations are people right now in Mechanicsville. They're people in 5 Points. You know what I'm saying? They're people in the West End, deep in the West End, who actually might need some of these pills, or might need this medicine and can't afford the medicine you get prescribed. You know what I mean? These are people you need to be actually speaking to, and they don't. And when you actually do speak with them, it goes back to the 3 Ps. They'll either have issues when it comes to politics, or say the war on drugs. Let's see, they have somebody who's already been criminalized for having a small amount of weed. Or you'll go through pop culture issues where I say, there's a lot of people in hip hop who got cannabis brands like Snoop Dogg's and Wiz Khalifa's. You've never heard them speak about that ever. You know what I'm saying? But they tell you how to roll a blunt in a second. They've never told you one time they're in this industry. But it's thrown in your face so much.
I think they say it, but people don't recognize it. So people, when Wiz talks about Khalifa Kush, they don't know he's speaking of his strain.
Exactly. It's almost like Burner.
Burner
branded cookies so well that eventually you just had to look at cookies as something as a bigger thing than even cannabis.
Is.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, for the longest, you would have been like, what the hell is cookies? You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody would have kind of guessed. Nobody would have knew what that was unless you knew what that was. And I feel like, again, when it comes to pop culture, that's one thing I wish more MCs would do is speak about your engagement in this industry as much as you speak about your consumption. And then we got past issues. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I tell people, I'm going through a situation now where I had to deal with my nephew who started tinkering in cannabis. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm trying to deal with this issue from my point of view, where I never thought it was that big of a deal personally. But then I got my mom, who that's like the worst thing on earth. She's just now kind of getting to the grips of even having a conversation with me about it. Like, she's called me up a couple of days ago and said, she was asking me about Ray Charles. She said, I'm reading an article, I'm reading something about you in Creative Loafing, and I see that you mentioned the jazz era. And she said, is this why Ray Charles and them kept getting arrested? Because it was all about the weed thing? And I was like, yeah. And now we talking about it, but generational issues. We have a whole generation that's still alive that still looks at this as nothing but illegal. Then you have a generation like myself who's kind of caught in the middle, where I see the issues, but I also don't see this is not the biggest pressing issue in our community that we have to we have to boycott or anything like that. So I think those three things are what's stopping us primarily, and along with the fact that we're not having conversations with people in the streets. We're having conversations with people who either want to be invested or people who are already active in this. Like, you got to look past things like that if you really want to get people engaged.
It's interesting that what you brought up about, the rappers that talk more about their consumption than their involvement in the industry. Because, like, two examples is like, I believe Method Man and Redman are tied in with a particular company. I can't remember them right now, but it's like, I found that out because I'm in the media. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it wasn't something that was blasted out. It was something that was very, like, if you're not, reading websites like High Times or something like that, you wouldn't know. And even, I would even go like on somebody like Redman's Instagram page and be like, well, let's see if he's talking about this big announcement that they've made. It's not on there. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Snoop Dogg. I remember not too long ago, it might not have been the most appropriate forum, but, it's not every day you just get to sit down and talk to Snoop Dogg. Yeah. He was promoting the album, and I was like, yo, man, I see that you're involved in this cannabis industry. I was trying to hit him with some shit. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, it's like, do you think more cats are going to, try to get more, legal, you know what I'm saying, and not be illegal? Do you see more cats getting out of jail soon? Yeah. And he's like, man, I'm just doing my thing, dog.
It's like
I think a lot of times because of past issues, the people that are doing it legally try to keep it on the low. Yeah. And it still is, if you're making money from it, you can't report it to the federal government. So when you already trying to not pay, an ass load of money in taxes, that probably has a lot to do with it. Because, Snoop Dogg, he has the website.
We got Mary Jane.
The Mary Jane website. I don't know if the app is out yet, but they were working on an app. It was like kind of like a delivery service for marijuana. So yeah, Cats is heavy into it, but like you said, let's talk about the business as much as we talk about consumption.
Please do. Like, I had a chance to speak with Scotty ATL. I had a chance to interview him for the documentary. He stopped by my podcast.
Who also has a strain, right?
Ooh, I told Scotty during his interview, I feel like you are the type of person who we need to start seeing more of if you want to start seeing more people of color getting involved in this industry. You're somebody who kind of relates to two different crowds. You're somebody who's actually involved in this cannabis industry as far as helping your own strain come to life, and you actively talk about it. You know what I mean? It's not like one of them things where, again, like you say, you have to Google to go find out. I've known Cloud 9's happened since he dropped Cloud 9 the song. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's actively spoke about this thing happening. So to see him make it come to life with Denver Dab Company is amazing, man. And it's like, we need more of him. And I think we're going to start seeing more of him as it comes across because, like I say, past issues are going to start drowning out the more we start getting this new crowd of people involved in this. And you're going to start seeing people saying things like, why aren't we involved? Like, why don't we have more ownership over this? And I don't want to see us lose ownership. Like, being in LA, I had a chance. We saw Slink Johnson, Black Jesus, and he took us to his favorite dispensary in Inglewood. Man, it was on Manchester. So we driving down Manchester. I saw 3 dispensaries, and I was like, California's a different place. Like, as big as LA is, you can sustain this. But I don't want to see 3 dispensaries on Edgewood because that means you don't live in Edgewood no more. You know what I'm saying? You living in Conyers. You know what I'm saying? Because they done took this all the way over. So it's very important that we do get active involved in this and know what's going on and know whether or not you even want this in your neighborhood.
Can I go completely left field real quick? Do y'all remember when Too Short had that nationwide CD? It had a couple of... Do y'all know that Slink Johnson is Slink Capone?
He was a rapper. I heard that. Yeah. I heard that.
Yeah, same
he was
guy.
Really a rapper.
Yes, same
Slink
guy.
A tall dude too, man. He a tall rapper. Then it's just crazy.
Slink Capone.
Slink Capone.
Before he was an actor or any of that shit.
Well, Slink Capone now the dude who walk in a dispensary, walk behind the counter, and tell them I smoke your shit. That's my strain of OG. Smoke your OG. Nigga. So don't do it.
Can't be mad at that at all. So what do you think it's gonna take for people to be able to tap into the business before it gets to the point where you can't anymore?
I think right now is probably the best time for you to start being creative. I think for people of color right now, the best thing for you to do is either start a media outlet or figure out something technology, figure out something like an app or something like that. Like I had a friend of mine, Delion McGlown, he's working on an app called Bunker App, which is similar to me to Leafly. It just kind of connects people to dispensaries and stuff that's around their neighborhood, but it also gives them news. So it's kind of similar to Leafly and Weed Maps to me. But he's working on something like that. I encourage people, Cash Color Cannabis can't be the only blog or that per se that talks about people of color in this industry. It has to be more of that. You know what I'm saying? Like those are areas you can totally control and it's not based off of law. Like I see a lot of people want to talk about dispensaries, we want to sell plant. I'm like, that's totally based off of law, and at any time they could change that law. And if you don't really know your city council person, they could be redistricting in your city, your neighborhood right this second. And you're planning on something that's based off totally somebody else's decisions. You know what I'm saying? You in media, you doing technology, that's based off what you can do. That's something that's never going to really change, and you'll have the power to be able to tell a story.
Well, I never thought of it like that, man, because you do hear a lot of people just trying to get straight to the plant. Like, man, I want to grow, I want to grow, then I want to sell. But it's like there's so many different satellite opportunities to jump in on it, too.
Look, I remember when I was talking to Branson, I told him that one of the things I wish more brothers would think about in this industry, especially now, because it's going to take a little while before federally they even allow you to put money in the bank, is that we need bodyguards. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, how many dudes I know who done got in the hip-hop game and they done took their dudes from the hood and made them bodyguards, and now basically all you do is just make sure I don't get robbed. How many of y'all could actually take that same skill set and help somebody who has a dispensary, let's say in California, say Massachusetts coming up, Vegas or Nevada, where they're making millions a day? You know what I'm saying? You got to transport that bread. Have somebody who looks scary transport that bread. You know what I'm saying? And have them be licensed to do this. And figure out a way to get into that industry, because, again, that's something that's happening. And I know there's nobody who look like you. You know what I'm saying? I know that.
No, and I don't know if this is giving up too much game, but how are these people protecting their money? I mean, I know everybody doesn't just have $2 million in a mattress or in a drawer somewhere, but you can't put it in the bank. So is there some kind of third party that's like just holding the bread or what?
I know some people dip and dab in Bitcoin. Like a lot of people do that because, again, it's cryptocurrency. It's not something that's going to be traced. I think a lot of people are starting to. As a matter of fact, I even seen a machine pop up across the street from me. So I'm like, somebody in Atlanta is using it heavy, because that's like the third Bitcoin machine I've seen. But a lot of people use Bitcoin. It's very hard, because it's very hard for you to even transfer. You can't put $10,000 in the bank without getting several questions, and I don't care. You know what I'm saying? So if you walk in there with $100,000,
I've been there before. Like, tell her like, so what is this for? Fuck you, man. What is it for? What? I built a rainbow. Like, what you mean? What is it for?
Who cares? But if you walk in there with that money, man, that's hard to do. So again, a lot of people are using, like I say, Bitcoins and things like that. Other than that, you got to really stash it as best as you can. Safes, all that, and even to pay your taxes. Like there was a show that was on CNN not too long ago about the weed industry in Colorado, and I remember seeing the girl in that show have to go take $50,000 to pay the taxes for the city, and you took that in a brown paper bag like a dope dealer. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking like, yo, how insane is that? You walked into a city building with a brown paper bag of $50,000, and you had to pay that in cash. And they would take your cash, but they won't allow you to put it in a bank.
Right. That's crazy.
Yeah. So this industry is crazy, and we're watching it change. We're watching it change really in real time. And I feel like this is one of the few times where people of color, we are actually faced with a situation where we can be on an even platform when it comes to a big industry or a big business in this country. We're actually starting off in a way where we have the knowledge to get in, we have the access to get in, we have people that are already involved. This is perfect for us. We now need to make sure that people understand what's happening and how you can get involved.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, are there resources out there for people to learn, like how to get, like I'm sure, can you just Google, I want to get involved in legal cannabis industry?
Well, actually, there's plenty of organizations. There's Minority Business Cannabis Association, the MCBA. They're real heavy as far as getting people involved in the industry, and they've actually put on. As a matter of fact, Jesse Horton, he's becoming a major name across the country. Jesse's out in Portland, and he's doing just huge things with MCBA. They've done help with expungements in Oakland and in Portland, so helping people get some of those cannabis charges off their records so they can proceed into the industry. So that's one place. I also say the California Minority Alliance. They're going to be coming down here soon. It's going to be a Georgia Minority Alliance, but they're doing major things as well. Same thing with minorities for medical marijuana in Florida. My girl Roz McCarthy was an important lobbyist when it came to getting Amendment 2 passed in Florida. So we're seeing that happen now. Where she's one of the people on the ground making sure that we see people of color get involved there, because you can't see something like that pop up in Florida and not have you involved. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can't keep happening.
Like, are there resources? Like how spread out are the resources as far as like law? Because I mean, I know for sure that different cities that have this legalized, different states, they have different laws. Because I was watching something on Vice about the crazy laws up in D.C. where it's like you can have up to this much, and you can only have it on this sidewalk.
Best situation going on.
It is?
Hands down to me, man. Like, because it's not about money to them. To them, it's literally about people getting access to the plant and you being able to have the freedom to either grow or access it on your own. And when I was in D.C., we actually had a chance to go to this guy took us to his house, and we go into his basement. He has a little man cave down in his basement, and he opens a door just like this, and all I see is all these purple plants. And he said, "Yeah, man." He said, "This is the best man cave ever." You know what I'm saying? I can just walk over here and pull off. I've been watching it grow. I'm watching it do this, and I don't have to worry about going to a dispensary. It's not a conversation about who's making millions of dollars. It's about who's actually having access to the plant. They figured out a nice little hustle system. Like, I can give you 2 ounces now for free. Just buy a T-shirt for $40.
Buy a T-shirt, right.
Yeah,
right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I went to D.C., and I was like, I don't want to leave. Like, this is perfect. This is perfect. And unlike Denver,
because the weed is free
thing
up there. Like, that's the only way they can move it. Like, you have to technically give it away for free.
Yeah. So I loved it like this. It's opposite of Denver, where I felt like it was just all about bread, man. It's like that is so ugly to see. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I'm watching homeless people lay on the ground, while white people, black people, everybody just sit in the park smoking weed, and I'm like, all these dispensaries are getting bread. I don't know where any of this money is going to.
Hey, I was just in Denver, and there's like dispensaries everywhere. Yeah. Like everywhere.
It is. I almost got tired of weed. Like, I was in Denver for 9 days, and I remember telling my girl, I said, I rolled up a blunt and I left it on the bus station because I got so tired of just having it on me. I said, Sherelle, I woke up the next morning, went to the office. I walked by that same bus station. That blunt is sitting there. I said, that's how much weed is in Denver. They bypassed my blunt.
You can't give it away.
You can't give it away. That's how much is out there, man. So it's crazy, man. But there are resources out there. They are, because again, laws change different places. So there are some organizations being built even in Georgia, per se, like the Green Rush team, my man Coach. They're helping people understand what the laws are, how you can get involved, how you can get access to medical marijuana. There's my man Dr. Rashawn Hodge, who's over on Boulevard. He could actually prescribe you a medical card for Georgia. So, and he's Morehouse grad. You know what I'm saying? Like again,
how does that work? How does this prescription game work? Like, is it something where it's like it's very tedious, or is it very loose to like how the lean epidemic got in Houston, where it's like anybody, oh man, here.
It ain't as loose as California, because I got a California card without even being. I was in California for like 4 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could do it on an app in California. They ask is, are you in California right this second? You know what I'm saying? And in Georgia, you got to qualify through certain ailments. And like Dr. Hodge, who actually came on my podcast to explain to people that they have actually opened up more ailments that could qualify for you, but back pain would be one of them. So if you had back issues, you know what I'm saying, you can go to Dr. Hodge or maybe a couple other doctors. If you needed some others, he could tell you about some, and go through the motions and have them prescribe them to you. And again, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a couple of hoops and ladders, but it's not going to be as easy as, say, California. It's just not going to be super hard to do. Like, I see people get them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Switching gears a little bit, what's your favorite marijuana movie ever?
I'm gonna say, Friday is a marijuana movie. Like, Friday, would be my favorite.
I think that might be all black people's favorite movie.
I think Half Baked might be my least favorite, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, like I still can't get into Half Baked. Like, it's not that funny to me.
I thought it was fine. I haven't watched it in years, but I remember being 17 and getting high, going to go see it, and that shit was hilarious.
Whoa, did you just break news? I still, when I first met Maurice, I assumed he smoked weed, and I was like, you gotta stop assuming stuff. And then I'm like, then people are telling me, nah, Maurice don't never smoke, and I'm feeling bad about me. Like, oh man, like I'm trying to get on Maurice level. Let me stop smoking or something, man. But all right, so you actually
keep in mind, I said this I was 17.
It was a Atlanta thing. I had to at the moment.
But the movie was funny as hell back then. Like I haven't seen it in years though, so I don't know how well it's aged.
I just remember the doctor said I need a backiotomy. That was the line from the movie. I remember that for so.
So that would be Friday. Friday hands down.
And what about song?
Weed song? Oh, that's a good one, man. Because I'm thinking about several Wiz Khalifa songs right now, man. He's excellent with those. I guess I'm gonna say I don't know if again you can't technically call this a weed song, but "Let Me Ride" is probably the song that makes me think of weed the most. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Dre.
Let Me Ride.
Yo, even seeing that video, like matter of fact, I got to speak to Bonita Money. She's actually part of the production of that video, and she's heavy in the weed industry. And I want to ask her about that. Like, that's my favorite video ever, and it's like it always makes me think about weed, makes me think about chronic, makes me think about the time I smoked chronic and almost went crazy. Like, it's just I love that, man.
Yeah, I always found it funny that the weed songs are always dope. You're hard pressed to find like a whack ass weed song.
Even because I got high. You know what I'm saying? Like you throw that on right now, you're gonna feel cool about it, man. You're gonna feel cool about it.
Cool. So like switching gears back, into like, the documentary, like what are you hoping that people walk away the most with, from this documentary? Do you want people to feel inspired to get in the game? Do you want people to feel like, okay, what's the feeling that you want people to walk away with after they watch your documentary?
I want people to walk away and start asking what's going on in their neighborhood, to be completely honest with you. Because I told I have this conversation again with my mother who's anti-cannabis and my sister who's a teacher out here in Atlanta, and she has her own feelings about it. And I tell them all the time, the end goal for me in this documentary, and they're very proud of what I'm doing. They're not like shaming me or nothing, but the main goal of my documentary is for people to know what's happening in their community. Like I told my mom, she's always kept me involved in politics, my mom and my dad. But like they often say about knowing who your community city council people are, know who your city representatives are, know your state representatives are, know who these people are, as opposed to just saying, going down the line, just letting people walk in. And I say now with this cannabis thing, do you really want to wake up and have a dispensary in your neighborhood? That's the question. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a real life question. I might be cool with that, but you might not be. But the fact that you're not hearing enough about it may have you be very ignorant to what's going on under your nose. So I feel like if you watch this film, I want you to walk away saying at the end of the day, this is cool, but what's happening in my community?
Okay.
Like, do you think more people, stand to get, out of jail now with it being legal? Like I know you mentioned a couple companies that are doing, the expunging, you know what I'm saying? Do you think that's really going? Are we going to see a lot of cats coming back home? You know what I'm saying? The bigger that this industry gets.
No. And I think that's going to be one of the major issues as far as getting this thing really decriminalized across the board is you got to figure out how to do that. You know what I mean? It's almost like trying to give reparations. Like how do you, it sounds good, but how do you actually make that happen? Because you got people across the country right now incarcerated for either small amounts, large amounts. You got somebody like my man, not Sass, but you got my man who was on Love and Hip Hop last year, got bagged with 5 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Dude's doing like 5 years right now. Like you got levels across the board. Like why were you selling? Were you selling to make money, or was you doing this to get some? You have to really break down a lot to even figure out how to work that out. But I do see you're going to have eventually do something, especially if we've been passing laws to legalize this over the last 2 years, and you got arrested for this during the last 2 years, and you're in a state now that I say is legalizing it. I say you got to change that. Because this happened within me getting arrested. You know what I'm saying? Like, help me help you. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. I don't want to be locked up for something while y'all are actively making money for it, and the most you could tell me is free me.
Like, let me know if you heard this or if you know it to be true. I was hearing that there was a law getting, passed around throughout the city, throughout city council, where, right now if you get caught with some weed on the street or whatever, they either arrest you, they arrest you, they take it and they arrest you. Mm-hmm. There was a law that was proposed where if you get caught with, up to a certain amount,
they give you a ticket.
You just get a ticket.
Yeah, that's
no more jail.
In California,
you know what I'm saying? But it didn't pass. Like it almost passed. You know what I'm saying? But
it's one of them things. Like I was down there when they was trying to pass it the first time. It was a couple months ago. As a matter of fact, it was the first time I met Kwanzaa Hall. Kwanzaa's a cool dude, man. He walked in. I never seen nobody walk in late to something he was promoting himself. You know what I'm saying? Like my man walked in late.
I saw Kwanzaa the other day at the do-over, and I was like, you almost had me. But you got on some damn Lacoste sneakers, man. You lost some cool points on that one. I was like, you can't be out here rocking no Lacoste sneakers, bro. No, continue, though.
Yeah, but yeah, so he was pushing that actually, the decriminalization of cannabis, which would be, like you said, if you get caught with it, it'll just be a ticket rather than a fine. And it'll be up to an ounce. So if you had like an ounce of weed on you, you wouldn't be arrested. That's something that's already going on in Clarkston. You know, Mayor Ted Terry
really?
Yeah, he did that about 2 years ago now.
Yeah. That's the hippie. Yeah. Right there, 'cause they already trying to get him up out of there.
Oh, and you know what? And he's another one, dude. He's a mayor who lives with people. Like, he has roommates. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, he's a new school.
I heard about dude.
But he did it. So, yeah, it's one of them things that's popular. But I remember sitting down there, and I feel like they want to do it, but it's one of those things they're going to keep kicking down the road until they kind of just have to do it. Every time you turn around, one other group needs more information. Either the police department or the hospital or you know what I'm saying? Somebody needs more information about what's going on. It's like, all right, this is going to take months for y'all to even come to even a small conclusion about this. But it'd be great if it happened. We already see people again. In Atlanta, you get knocked for weed like it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, a smell of weed is a good reason for somebody to even stop you, and you might not even be smelling like weed. So let's stop this. You know what I'm saying? Let's stop wasting people's tax money. Stop wasting people's time in jail, having to get them bail bonds and all that stuff. Give them a fine and let them proceed with their day if they have an ounce on them. So hopefully that does pass, but that has been kicked around the city. Hopefully Kwanzaa can get that done.
Right. Do you see a time, and if so, how long will it be until marijuana is legal in this country federally?
Federally? I'd say about federally across the board. I would say literally. I'd say about maybe 20 years. Maybe 20 years.
That long?
Yeah, I'm not talking that's not going to be a quick fix, especially now with you having Trump and his administration in here. And the minute Jeff Sessions got into the DOJ, the first thing he said was he was going to war against cannabis, like nothing else. You know what I'm saying? So you got a minimum of 4 years to deal with this one alone. You know what I'm saying? And they're not alone in what they believe in. This is, again, a generational issue. You got a whole generation of people sitting in the White House right now that says, nah, we don't want this, despite the fact people across this country have voted for it. We're just going to say, slap them in the face, say we're just going to do what we want to do. So as long as you have people involved in government on that level having those feelings, it's going to be a while. No matter how much money gets made, no matter how many people have issues with it, it's going to be a while. Like, it's going to be a real long time before people can wrap their head around the fact that this is going to be okay.
Okay.
What are some things that you learned in the making of your documentary? What
I've learned is that I learned that you know, it's been said plenty of times that weed is the one drug that the one thing that all groups of people agree on. That is true. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've come across old, young, white, black, men, women, like across the board, people really aren't that mad about cannabis at all, even if you don't use it. I've learned that black people are some of the most resilient, creative human beings you'll ever want to meet ever. You know what I mean? From how some of these people have been growing under the eye of the law for decades and nobody's caught them up, or how DC's working out the plan they have where we can make money off this without selling it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm watching black people figure out ways again, figure out ways around an industry in order to make money, and I'm thinking that is amazingly dope. And the other thing I'm learning is really how to put together a film. You know what I mean? Like, I'm learning how to budget myself properly. I'm learning how to properly set up times and interviews and properly set up meetings. And I've learned a lot that I probably felt like I did know prior to this, because it's not the first time I try to work on a documentary, but it's the first time I've taken a year and a half to do anything in my whole entire life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm very quick to say I'm done with something. But this has been a big learning lesson for myself that I can pull this off. Shout out to my man Danny Digital, who served as my director, has traveled with me to every place I've gone to almost except for DC. But yeah, it's been dope to learn that and feel that, and then see the love. Like, when we went to LA, to have people walk up to me and say, "You're the color green," you know what I mean? Like, to know that our social media and the conversation we're starting has gone that far to where we having people grab phones and say, "Take a picture with me," you know what I mean? Like, I'm
That's
already
dope.
Yeah, it was crazy in LA, man.
Now, in this experience, like, has it been, I guess, you know, affected by cannabis use? Are people showing up hella late for interviews? Are they showing up with the peasy red eyes? Like,
No.
I'm ready for my close up,
They
bro.
are showing up They're showing up super serious, man. The people I'm talking to are about that life, even down to, you know, I'm a joke, even down to Scotty. Scotty, we definitely got rolled up. He seshed up before the interview, seshed up after the interview, but he was on point with his answers. He was on point. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. And again, like I tell you, there's so many great examples of what a real adult consumer of cannabis is in this world that you have to stop looking at the Shaggies of the world. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like everybody's not a Scooby-Doo character.
I was about to say, not the R&B stuff.
Not
the reggae.
Not the reggae dude. No, everybody's not that, man. There's a lot of dudes like I put on events too called Cash Color Cannabis where we try to bridge that conversation. We try to bridge between the people I feel like don't know, the everyday people, and the cannabis activists. So I put them on stage, let them talk to a crowd. We do it at the Omen Agency. And I've met some people, man. I'm talking about professionals. Like we done two. Our second one was mostly white people, which scared the hell out of me. But yeah, I mean, it was after the Creative Loaf interview came out, so it was like packed to the wall, and it was all white people. But they're white people in suits and ties, and they were bragging to me about how I smoke a joint every day, and I do this every day, and I'm proud of it. And I'm glad you're telling people about this, and we're not shaggy. You know what I'm saying? That we're not this. So yeah, don't be shocked. There's lawyers, there's politicians, there's doctors, there's plenty of people who sesh on a everyday basis for one reason or another, and they're functional human beings.
Very much, man.
That's
Very
what's
much.
up. Yeah. So, got switching gears a little. Like I said, we ain't been in here for a couple weeks, so we gotta talk. There's a lot of great stuff that's come out in the last couple weeks. The Jay-Z album. What are our thoughts?
I need to listen to it a couple more times. You know,
It's been out for 2 weeks.
I mean, I
Do you
I
not
have
have
other things to do. You know what I'm saying?
Do you not have title?
No, I have title. Right. It's like the first time I heard it, I just thought it was boring. Just Sonic. I was like, man, this shit's kind of boring.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? Second time I heard it, you know what I'm saying? I listened to it, I was like, okay, I see what he's trying to do. I see what he's trying to do because I still didn't really like. If I want to listen to a rap album, I want to hear rapping.
Yeah.
A lot of it was just talking.
Okay.
Over the music. That was like, damn, he ain't really rapping. Like he's saying some shit, but he's literally just damn near just talking on this. You know what I'm saying? But after listening to it a few more times, it was like, I mean, it's cool. It's like it's not one of my favorite Jay-Z albums yet. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, man, it's an album I can appreciate. It's not necessarily something I could just. This is my shit.
I dug it, man. Like to me, it was the best project he put out since American Gangster, and I was a huge American Gangster fan. Like I feel like I'm seeing growth in Jay-Z. As weird as that sounds, this man's like hitting 50. You know what I'm saying? But I'm feeling like I'm seeing
grow at
growth.
different rates.
Man, American Gangster is basically Reasonable Doubt, but like on a grown up level to me. And I was like, I can't believe you pulled this off, dude. It is the same thing with Fourth. That is just a solidly put together album, man. I'm glad he was speaking on the levels that he was speaking on. You know, it's created a good conversation.
I like it. I like the album a lot, despite its flaws. Like I think the beats on a lot of songs could be better. I don't think the concepts are fully fleshed out to the level that they wanted them to be. Yeah. But I feel like the ideas are so good and the lyrics are so on point that it makes up for the other deficiencies of the album. And it's concise. It's 10 songs. Yeah. Well, I haven't heard the one with the 3 extra songs.
You haven't heard Blue Ivy yet?
Nah.
Oh man, I'm here for Blue Ivy. When you hear that verse, tell me that she doesn't remind you of Lil Uzi Vert. Like it sounded like Uzi Vert, and I was like, I can't believe Uzi. Like, bro, there's a 5-year-old saying gibberish, and she could really pull off you, like really well, really well, man. But she did her thing. Shout out to her. She got 2 platinum records, man.
Right.
Yeah, man.
5.
Can't get
5.
Nepotism at its finest.
Yeah, got writing credits and everything. 5,
Nepotism at its finest. But yeah, I thought it was good. I think the fact that it's only 10 songs, you can listen to it pretty quickly. He's actually talking about something. There's tons of double and sometimes triple entendres. You know, Jay, so you catch stuff. But I mean, he had phoned some stuff in. It wasn't too much lyrical stuff on Magna Carta Holy Grail.
No,
it was. Right. He had phoned some stuff in, so he's back at it. I appreciate it. I've seen Jay a million times in concert, but I'm actually debating on going to the show because I want to see if he does. He's essentially been doing the same show for the last 15 years.
So wait, Brandon, are you getting cheap tickets or are you getting the expensive tickets that people are complaining about?
I've paid for 3 concerts in the last 20 years, dude. I'll be in there some kind of way. I'm sure it'll happen some kind of way. I don't know how. But yeah, I'm definitely looking, and people are complaining about them tickets. If you don't want to pay for the floor, buy the nosebleeds. Yeah.
Yeah,
the nosebleeds was $60, man. It ain't a big deal.
Look,
man.
I love how people start with the highest price possible, as if you was
Right.
going to do this in the first
Right.
place. Come on.
Exactly. Like I went to the dealership and this Bentley is $200,000.
How
But you
dare
was
they?
at the Toyota dealership across the street. So what you talking
Yeah,
about? Like
you talking about something that's way you and Bankhead talking about Buckhead, man. Like
exactly,
it is.
exactly. I think it was dope. Have y'all watched the Defiant ones yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I got caught in it. I was like, I started. I got to finish it, and it's pretty damn good, man. Alan Hughes always comes with it, and Dre doesn't talk.
Really?
So the fact that he
that.
is talking in this is a huge deal, and it was one part they were talking about some kind of crime or something, and Dre was like, "Come on, Alan, I'm not answering that shit on camera." Like it was like super just behind the scenes. Like you've never seen this kind of access with Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine. Like I suggest even if you don't, I think HBO, you just do the little 30-day trial thing or whatever for free and watch it. It's well worth it. Like, and it pretty much chronicles from pre-NWA to the Apple deal.
Dre and Jimmy Iovine are both very interesting figures, so I would love to see this. I feel like Dre, man, there's so many things I would love to ask Dre if I ever had a chance to, because I grew up. If it wasn't for Pump It Up, I wouldn't be able to listen to hip hop probably to this moment. Like my dad was anti-hip hop and it was over Dre. You know what I mean? Like he found a NWA tape in my pocket in elementary school. And I remember my dad opening it up and reading it out loud. You know, it was the most embarrassing thing as a kid. He goes, "Niggas with attitude." And he's like, "These 4 black dudes calling themselves niggas? I don't want hip hop in this house." And then one day he saw me watching Pump It Up, and I try to tell you, every Saturday night, me and my dad would make an 11 o'clock appointment to watch Pump It Up. So I remember when D. Barnes got fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And I think it was so crazy that they avoid that conversation.
No,
like
it's in it.
Is it really?
She's in it and he apologizes.
Oh, I'm with that. Then I'll go see it. Yeah, because I haven't seen Straight Outta Compton because I thought that they should. That was almost insane that you would cut that out. Like
it's Hollywood,
but it's a major part of the NWA story. Like understand,
it's not.
But Dre beat up D. Barnes over something Ice Cube said.
I was finna say, so I can't say it on record.
Never
mind. I agree.
He did something over Ice Cube where Ice Cube said this man never put hands on Ice Cube, and they ended up leaving the group for the same reason Ice Cube left that he was talking about. I was like, how is this not part of this story?
Well, it's part of the story. I don't think it's a major part of the story, but I feel we'll talk about that off air.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But it's good. People should definitely watch it. And
cool.
Also the Can't Stop Won't Stop, the Bad Boy doc, came out on Apple Music, and I thought that was pretty damn good. If you guys did not get to see the Bad Boy reunion shows, then this is a good substitution for it, because they go from the practice to back in the day. They talk about all kind of stuff, and of course everything is through the lens of Puff, so you're gonna get his version of everything.
I believe that.
There's so many different stories.
Brandon,
that was the other thing, the Defiant ones, and we'll get back to your point. Finally, Puff talks about the whole Suge thing.
I don't.
In the Defiant ones.
To this day, I think that, you talk about something maybe we might have to talk about off air. To this moment, I think watching the Source Awards, I still don't think that that Suge Knight was ever talking about Diddy. I think Diddy volunteered for the beef, and it just kind of went.
A lot of folks think he was talking about Jermaine Dupri.
I said to this moment he was talking about Jermaine Dupri. Like, dude, they was actively clowning Jermaine Dupri in videos up until that point. Like, you had a whole video where, what was it, man? Ezell from Friday was playing a little version of Jermaine Dupri, and they had this chick playing the Brat, and Snoop literally walks by.
That.
Yeah, and Snoop walks by and goes, "Yo, take that shit back to Atlanta." And I'm looking like, how we all missed this, and then Diddy jump on stage.
Like, that didn't get televised a lot. You had to have like Murder Was the Case on VHS.
Yup, exactly.
To see that. You know what I'm saying? Like that part didn't get played because that was on the beginning of that Dog Pound.
Yup.
What Would You Do video that didn't get on Rap City. You know what I'm saying? You had to have like one of them Death Row music.
This is why I had to be in this room, man. Like, these are people who saw the thing. I know what I'm talking about.
Didn't we talk to JD about this when he was on the show?
Yeah, he kind of gave an answer like, "Well, I mean, I was there. I ain't take offense to it." You know, he kind of just brushed it off.
Look,
you know what I'm saying?
After Diddy jumped on stage, if I was him, I ain't taking offense to it either, man. Go ahead and inherit this beef that turned into deaths and a whole bunch of other stuff, man. I'm out here making records because that was clearly about Jermaine Dupri. You the one dancing in videos.
I mean, Puff was dancing in videos too.
But he wasn't dancing in videos with a little version of Snoop Dogg and a female version of Snoop Dogg. While this dude walking around here talking about so funkified.
Well, they can't
you know what I'm
even
saying? Like all that didn't happen.
They can't even really be mad at the Bow Wow thing because Bow Wow came from Death Row.
True.
He was a little Snoop.
True. I love JD. I always thought JD's biggest talent was that he could literally turn somebody into somebody else. Like I saw Escape be a female Jodeci, you know what I'm saying? And pull it off flawlessly. Like he was excellent at that. He could find you and be like, you are a better version, or you could be a version of this.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, you guys gotta. It's a lot of good stuff out there, man. So we gotta support good art because we always complaining about when shit is bad. Yeah. So it's definitely supported. And you got black directors and all kind of black folks making money off this stuff. So, bro, when is the doc? I know you don't have a hard date, but when is it?
420 on whatever year.
Actually, we're working, man. I'm trying to see if we can get it. Well, we've been having a good conversation. My man Kyle Boulder is one of the board of directors over the Atlanta Film Foundation. So we're trying to see if we can get it into the Atlanta Film Festival next March. So that's what I'm overly shooting for. We're actually continue production for that reason, you know what I mean? Because we just missed their last one, but we were invited. I had a chance to see Kennedy Anderson's documentary, which is a great documentary.
Man, I hate that I missed it, man, because like I want to see that because they showed it at the Plaza. Man.
I saw that man cry on stage, man. It was so heavy because I grew up being a huge Kenny Anderson fan, bro.
Me
and
too.
to see him go through that life, and
So is he good now?
Yeah, he good. He heavy set, you know what I mean? He's very humble.
Dude,
you know,
I remember.
I hope he's done drinking.
I had to be like a year or two out of college at a party, and Kenny Anderson bumped into me and damn near knocked me over. And I'm like 22, so I reacted like a 22-year-old would. And his boys immediately jumped in like, bruh, he's faded out of his mind. Like, don't even trip. Like, we sorry, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, cool, whatever. But I'm also like, fam, y'all are not his friends. How you let this man be out here in public this like drunk, damn near finna get his ass whooped because he's that faded? Because drunk people can't fight. Like, you can't fight if you that drunk.
Well, I think he's doing better. You know, the one thing you'll take away the most watching his film was the relationship he has with his kids now and his attempts to be a coach. Because one of his kids is really, I guess he's old enough to understand who his dad is, and he ain't with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's trying to get him to open up a little bit more to him, but he ain't with it no more. Like, you could clearly tell he's born in Connecticut. Like, he's not Kenny Anderson.
Ain't no left rack in him
exactly. You're gonna notice that quickly. He's not that guy. And Kenny Anderson is bothered the hell about it. He's not. He's bringing.
I gotta see this.
He brought him to the projects. Dude was sitting on the couch. He was like, "Come on, get up, man. This is what I used to do. This is what I do." Looking like, man, I'm sitting here playing Pokemon, man. Like, he's not the same kid.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so that was dope. But we shooting for the Atlanta Film Festival. I do want to submit it to South by Southwest. And after that, you know, who knows? Maybe it's Netflix. Maybe a situation where we're trying to even do some screenings from city to city. You know, I want to see how far we can take the conversation before I have to let go of any of it. Really, you know, I've done a really good job of making sure I kept ownership of this. Like, this is technically my third documentary I worked on, but this one I was working on prior to this, DJ's Doing Work. I learned a lesson doing that one. The lesson I learned doing that one was I gave up ownership way too quickly, and it burnt me all the way out. And, you know, people start not being who they are. And now it's just like, it just washed me all the way to get off. But this one, I've kept ownership. I have not given up anything. I've self-funded it, so it only cost us about $5,400 so far in the last 2 years. But I self-funded it, you know what I mean? So if we can take it on a personal screening route, I would love to do that, you know what I mean? But I know I have the flexibility right now to where I'm not beholden to anybody doing really anything.
That's dope, man. Well, we're looking forward to it, man. We have to, whenever it does screen, you got to let us know so we can be there.
Before we wrap this up again, I can't explain enough how much respect I have for both of y'all. Like I said, I used to grow up hating on you when I was reading Ozone, and I've told Brandon plenty of times.
The ultimate form of respect.
I told Brandon plenty of times. My first double XL story came via this guy right here, man, and you got me a check, and I was so happy about that. I was telling Sherelle a couple of days ago about how I was working for Rolling Out, fresh out of college, doing little things for for my man Al Weens. And Al had me
Al
had me at a 100 Black Men event with a suit on, interviewing all these people, and I was sweating like a slave. And I remember Al looking at me and saying, "Young brother, you don't want to do this, do you?" And I said, "Nah." He said, "If you could write for anywhere right now, where would it be?" I said, "XXL." He said, "I know somebody down there. Maybe I can help you." Man, a couple of months later, man, I sure got an email. And I remember you being on that email, and Vanessa and it was another person, and they was like, "Yo, we got a concert in Charlotte, North Carolina. Can you cover it?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah, I can go cover Jeezy."
I remember that.
So yeah, I want to thank you. When I first heard Brandon Frederick was in Atlanta, I was like, "Oh man, I'm running to that guy."
Brendan Frederick is a white man. I'm Brandon Peters.
Different guy.
Different guy.
Different show is different guy, but I get the point.
B. Fred is the homie. B. Fred is my guy. Yeah. But man. But I remember that. Yeah. I remember that because it was Jeezy's show. I think it was the America something tour.
E40 was there. I know that. And E40 was crazy, that show, boy.
Yeah, I remember that because we didn't have anybody who could do it. I think our homie Leah Rose used to do the concert joints. And she couldn't make it, and Vanessa couldn't make it. Yeah, I remember that.
That was dope, though. But I spun off, and I had a chance to write for Slam and cover their high school in North Carolina from 2007 to 2010. So again, thank you. You know what I'm saying? You kept me from sweating like a slave at 100 Black Men.
Hey, I understood. I used to do that Charlotte run with Al. I didn't never do no 100 Black Men shit. Because I was like, nah, bro, we finna do this and that. Like we not doing all that. Shout out to Al, man.
Sweating like a slave at that 100 Black Men event, waiting to go home and smoke a blunt of Reggie. A whole another day. But that's why I was remembering, like, I gotta go home. I got a blunt rolled up. Get the hell on out this suit.
That is hilarious, man. Well, we appreciate you coming through, man. Most definitely, and hopefully y'all enjoyed learning a little bit about this cannabis industry. This is definitely something that I want to invest in for sure. So we'll definitely talk because we got to get in. This is prohibition all over again. Yeah. Y'all know that's how the Kennedys made their money. Shit, let's get on it.
Yeah,
100%. But we appreciate y'all listening, man. Make sure you follow us on Day One Radio on all your social media channels, and make sure you follow Hip Hop Trivia ATL as well, and pay close attention. We got a couple things in the works. We'll see you next week with another dope show.
Deuce.